What is up, Browns fans? Thank you for tuning in. This is Mike's Takes, episode 2. And today we're going to give out some love to a player that I think is going to be ultimately looked back as the one responsible for the cultural shift in the Cleveland Browns organization. Now, before we get started, please click the subscribe button. Do it now. Get it over with. Click subscribe. Click that little bell icon. Feel free to share this if you agree with me. And let's go. So, there was an article that was written in the Dog Pound Daily a couple days ago by Steve Gessie, who was saying that Cleveland Browns fans can thank Jarvis Landry for OBJ. I think we can thank Jarvis Landry for a lot more than that. But this is going to be one of those key moves that we can attribute directly to Jarvis that's going to also ultimately help us really reach that next level. But let's think back to when we initially got Jarvis. So we had to trade the Miami Dolphins a 4th and a 7th to get him, which ultimately is, for what we're getting for this guy, is probably going to go down in the Browns' history as one of the biggest steal trades ever. I know everybody's saying that we fleeced the Giants to get OBJ, but think about this. A 4th and a 7th for a guy who's ultimately responsible for a cultural shift in the locker room from an 0-16 team, right? An organization that has just been a dumpster fire since 1999 with a couple, nice little years here and there. But one playoff appearance, all the stuff, I don't have to go into it. We all have lived through the years. But it was a losing culture that was ultimately changed with one player. Now, yes, it was great that we got some more talent on the field. We brought in Myles Garrett. We brought in Baker. We've got, Nick Chubb and those sorts of things. But leadership really starts with the veterans. Because the rookies, the younger players, although they might have the swagger, they might come in with all the confidence, before they can prove it on the field, they don't have the respect necessarily of all the people in the locker room. But the veteran guys do. The guys like Jarvis, who have been a top performer in the league really since he came into the league. To come in there and stand in front of everybody, everybody remembers the Jarvis, that shit's contagious speech from Hard Knocks. Everybody remembers that. And I think that speech that he gave to those players was something that the organization looked at and was like, dude, this guy's special. This is a leader, a locker room leader, a veteran voice that we haven't had in here in a very long time. Okay, so we all know about what it took to get him. We all know now kind of the things that he brought to the table in terms of the attitude, the things that he inspired. The other thing, too, is he came to Cleveland with something to prove. I mean, the Miami Dolphins didn't back him. They looked at him and there was all these, reports about him not being a great locker room guy or, all these things that they didn't want to build around him. They didn't have the confidence in him. So he was coming here to Cleveland with something to prove, with a chip on his shoulder. And he came in here like a wrecking ball and was like, nah, I'm not coming in here to lose. This is not what I'm all about. I'm here to win. I'm going to bring this winning culture with me, whether in the very beginning, whether that was Tyrod or now obviously with Baker Mayfield kind of at the helm of this. He believed in Cleveland. He believed in himself. He believes in the city. This is a redemption story that started a long time ago and it's now finally getting to fruition. But then on top of that, being able to look at a guy, bring in a guy like Antonio Callaway. Think about this. Before the season, Antonio Callaway was still kind of a knucklehead. I mean, he was getting in trouble. He was doing some scary things that could have had him go down the Johnny path, in that kind of way, or I guess better yet, maybe the Josh Gordon path, right? But none of that happened. And I don't know if that was directly because, Jarvis grabbed him, or maybe it was just the example that he set for him as that veteran presence to say, look, if you want to be successful in this league, you want to keep cashing these game checks, you got to do the right thing. So he leads by example, and he also leads vocally, which is amazing that we have a player like that, right? And he performs on the field. He produced on the field this year, right? And then on top of it, this nice cherry on top. Do you think that OBJ would have been interested in coming to the Cleveland Browns, even with, the upward trajectory that we've got going on? Do you think he would have been ultimately excited about coming to the Browns? Yes, with a young quarterback. Yes, with kind of a fun new offense and everything like that. Without his best friend on the planet being here, telling him how awesome it is and how great and what kind of culture and what they're trying to do with the Browns, right? Now, on top of that, if you go back to OBJ's if you go back to his Lil Wayne interview, ESPN interview, right? So go back to that interview and listen to what he says. He talks about being like, I want to be a part of something special. It's not about necessarily, the catches. It's not about him being featured. He wants to be part of something special. Okay? So this is what he gets. He gets his best friend. He gets, obviously a guy in Baker Mayfield that he respects. He's seen what they did. The reports that have come out about OBJ that he's like, yeah, he wasn't really thrilled about being traded. I think it was just kind of the shock of it all. Like, he wasn't expecting that after signing that big deal. So I think now it's kind of, it's sunk in a little bit. He's obviously embracing the fact that he's there. I think Jarvis is going to be such a positive influence on him. And then at the end of the day, we're going to look back. I firmly believe we're going to look back to when we brought in Jarvis Landry as the kind of a blue chip wide receiver that we needed while Josh Gordon was still a little shaky, right? So we brought in Jarvis to be that consistent guy for us. It was a bigger move than just football. It was something that impacted the culture of the organization to shift us from losing, it's okay to be mediocre, who cares, off season, we'll just figure it out, go on to the next draft, to guys like, no, we're going to win right now. We're going to do it, and we're going to be real excited about it. We're going to have fun doing it. That's who Jarvis Landry is. That's why we owe him a lot. And I just want to say I'm really happy. I wanted to give him some love today. Thank you for everything that you've done so far for us, Jarvis. I know that there's going to be way more things that you're going to do for us in the future. You're one hell of a guy. You're a class act. And, I love everything about this guy. So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. This has been Mike's Takes episode part 2. And, hit that subscribe button. Help me out. Let's grow this channel. We've got a lot more fun things. I've got some other trailers that are rolling around in my head. I've already begun editing some new things too. So there's going to be some more fun stuff right around the corner. So subscribe to the channel, share it out, tell your friends. Let's help grow this. Again, we want to try to get this to 1,000 subscribers by the start of the season. We've got a lot of really cool stuff planned. So again, thanks for watching. And as always, go Browns.
Here we go, Brownies! Here we go! Woo, woo.